Hey, what is going on, guys? So today we're checking out the PlayArt Kai Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Zack Fair. So this figure came out in 2018 and is probably one of my favorite figures in my entire PlayArt Kai collection. And I know it's a fan favorite figure, so I thought today we could check it out. So I hope you guys will enjoy the review. And with that being said, let's get into the video. Alright, stay tuned, guys. Okay, so first up, let's take a look at the packaging. So we have a nice photo on the front of Zack Fair, and we have the logos for Crisis Core and PlayArt Kai. So on the sides of the packaging, we have the logos once again. So on the back, we have a couple of screenshots of the figure in various poses, very high quality. And so on the inside of the packaging, once again, we have a nice photo of the figure itself. And down here, we have a bit of text. So if you guys want to read this, then feel free to pause and read. It's just a bit about the character and the game. And right over here we have a nice window display to showcase the figure inside the box with all the accessories. Okay, so here's how I display Zack Fair in my collection. So as you can see, I've got him displayed beside Barrett, Vincent, Cloud Strife, and Reefus. But yeah, it's such a nice figure. I mean, it's just such a nice piece overall. I'm just really happy to have this. But anyhow, here's a look at my entire PlayArt Kai Final Fantasy VII Remake and AC collection. So I will have a review of every single figure here. So if you guys want to check it out, then it will be on the channel. And don't forget to ring that bell notification so you guys don't miss out on all these reviews. So yeah, with that being said, let's take a closer look at Zack Fair. Okay, so let's go right ahead and take a look at the figure, and let's check out the head sculpts. So I've got to say, this is such a nice figure. I mean, it's got such a nice sculpt, such a nice paint job, and it's super crisp and clean. This is probably one of my favorite Final Fantasy VII figures. So I know when this figure initially came out, a lot of people did not like it because they thought the head sculpt was a bit too small for the rest of his body. But in my opinion, I think it's a perfect size. I think it's a perfect head sculpt, and I wouldn't change anything about it. I just love this figure so much. And it's also a pretty rare figure. I'm sure you guys know this by now, but this is probably one of the rarest PlayArt Kai Final Fantasy VII figures. And you're gonna have a hard time trying to track this figure down. Hopefully they make a remake version of Zack Fair. I just think that would be really amazing to see. And they also made a Crisis Core version of Aerith, but they never made a Cloud, which I really don't know why. But anyhow, here's a look at the face. And as you can see, the eyes are painted a pretty bright blue. And you can even see the eyelashes and eyebrows painted in there. He's even got the scar at the side of his face, as you guys can see that. So pretty nice attention to detail. Even the lips are painted a light pink, which I think is a nice contrast. As for the hairpiece, so the hair is also very nicely done. This was also one of the complaints. People thought the hairpiece looked a bit too small. But I think it's just perfect. You can see all the strands of hair sculpted in there. And it's also quite nicely painted. It's also kind of shiny. And so moving down here to the body piece. And as you guys can see, the body is a very similar design to the remake version of Cloud Strife. I'm not entirely sure if it's the exact same body shape. But yeah, it's pretty much the same design apart from the fact that Cloud only has one shoulder pad, whereas Zack has two. But yeah, overall, very similar designs. I'll give you guys a quick comparison between Zack Fair and the remake version of Cloud Strife a little bit later on, but for the moment, here's a look at the hand holding this really amazing Buster Sword. I just love the design, so nicely detailed. And it's also got quite a nice paint job. As you can see, it's quite nicely weathered to make it look a bit battle damaged, which I think is a pretty nice touch. But yeah, we have such nice detailing and texture. As you can see, the clothing looks like it's made out of real fabric, which is kind of crazy. We have these pretty cool shoulder pads. Here's a look at the arm, this bare arm. With the hands, we have this here belt piece with these belts and buckles sculpted in there. This is also made out of a soft piece of plastic, so it doesn't hinder the articulation. And moving down here to the leg piece, once again we have all these nice folds and creases sculpted in there. And of course we have the boots. And here's the side of the figure. We have a nice profile of the face. Yes, such a nice figure. But I really hope that Play Arts Kai make a new version of Zack, because I know a lot of you guys missed out on this figure when it first came out. So I think a lot of people are waiting for a new Zack figure from Play Arts Kai. But anyhow, here's a look at the leg piece. Pretty nice paint job as well. It's not just completely painted blue, we have different tones in there, like almost grey. And of course we have the feet. So this is the other side of the figure, and it's pretty much the exact same as the other side. We have this really cool looking scar on the side of his face, like this X. Very, very cool. And moving down here to the arms, just to give you guys a close-up so you can check out all these details. I'm not sure how many of you guys actually own this figure. If you guys can let me know in the comments below. How many of you guys have this Zack? I would be kind of curious to see. And so here's the back of the figure, and we have the hairpiece. So it's almost like a mullet, which I never really realized before, but it's most definitely a mullet, which is not my favorite hairstyle, but it really suits Zack. But anyhow, that's a look at the hairpiece, and moving down here to the back of the figure. So this here circle piece on his back can be popped out for the tiny little peg piece here to fit the Buster Sword onto his back, which I'll give you guys a look at a little bit later on. But moving down here to the back of the leg piece, pretty exposed double hinge joints, and of course the back of the boots. Okay, so as for the accessories, as you can see, the figure doesn't come with many. All we have are a couple pairs of hands, and we have the little peg piece to display the Buster Sword onto his back. And apart from that, we have the figure itself and the Buster Sword itself. Of course, we have the packaging and the display stand inside the box. And that's pretty much it for the accessories. Okay, so here's how Zack looks with the Buster Sword on his back. It looks really, really cool. And it's also pretty easy enough to switch out. You really shouldn't have too much of an issue with this. But basically, you just switch out the tiny little peg piece here and just pop it through the hole inside the Buster Sword, and you pop that into his back, and yeah, it stays in place pretty well. It doesn't feel like it's gonna fall out, which is the main thing. So yeah, here's how it looks. Very, very cool. Okay, so this is a quick look at Zack Fair and Cloud Strife. So here's how they look. I mean, they look so great together. As I mentioned before, it's a very similar design for the body piece. I think it may be the exact same, but I'm not entirely sure. I do think the skin tone is a little bit different between the two. I think Zack is a bit more tan, and Cloud's very pale, as you guys can see. Okay, so let's take a look at the articulation for Zack Fair. So overall, the figure's got pretty good articulation because there's nothing really in the way to restrict the figure from moving. So it's a pretty posable figure. So as for the head sculpt, we have a ball joint in there. And we also have a ball joint at the base of the neck, and the hair piece at the back, the little mullet piece, doesn't restrict the articulation. As for the shoulders, we have these really amazing ball hinge joints, and they can go all the way up, like so. These are shoulder pad pieces, also can move up and down, which is a very, very nice range of posability. As for the elbows and the wrists, we have ball hinge joints in there. We have a ball joint inside the torso piece, and we also have a ball joint at the waist. And this here little belt piece, if you will, is made out of a soft piece of plastic, so it's kind of bendy, as you guys can see. We have these ball ratchet joints at the hips. We also have a swivel joint, like this cut joints at the thigh, which you can barely see in there, so it's very, very hidden. And here at the knees, we have these double hinge joints. As for the ankle piece, we have a ball hinge joint, and we also have a hinge joint at the toe. So overall, the figure has pretty good articulation, and is probably one of the most posable figures out of the entire line. Okay, so that was a look at the Play Arts Kai Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Zack Fair. So yes guys, absolutely amazing piece. I mean, if you guys managed to find this figure, then I would say go ahead and pick him up, because as I mentioned before, it's such a rare piece. And yeah, you guys won't be disappointed. He's a great addition to anyone's collection. But anyhow guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. As I mentioned before, I will have a lot more reviews on the channel, so don't forget to ring that bell notification if you guys want to check out all these reviews. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Alright, take it easy guys.